This is fantastic. Fox News did Trump dirty. They wronged him, upset him. No doubt if he was tuning into Fox News at this hour. And all they had to do to cause that is allow Tim Walz to deliver quite the message. We've been watching Tim Walz's incredibly impactful messaging since he joined the ticket. Really American reporting on what we're about to talk about, saying pretty wild when Fox News carries a significant portion of Tim Walz's speech to a firefighters union where he blasts Trump and Project 2025 while extolling the virtues of the Harris-Walz ticket. The walls at Mar-a-Lago run red with ketchup, referencing that story from January 6th. Or wait, no. Was it January? At some point where he threw a plate at the wall. This is a perfect Fox case study, says Mice Touch. Tim Walz delivers a message about small government that would resonate with their audience. They panic and cut away and try to tell their audience why what they just heard was bad. And we'll get to Fox trying to clean up what they had done by just giving the mic to Tim Walz and having him crush Trump. Here's the first clip.
Look, I'll keep saying it. Words are cheap. Actions is all you should care about. Make sure you're counting on what was delivered. When Donald Trump was president, he blocked overtime benefits for millions of workers. He opposed efforts to raise the minimum wage, and he even proposed slashing budgets for federal fire service programs. Those are just simply facts. But look, it's not just what they've done, it's what they're going to do. This is the big thing. One of the goals of their Project 2025 is to screw the middle class, making it harder for workers to collectively bargain, allowing employers to drastically cut overtime or eliminate it, slash taxes for the ultra-wealthy by imposing a national sales tax on the rest of us. Look, I've said this, I'm an old-time football coach. If you draw up a playbook, you plan on using it. Project 2025 is a plan to reshape what America looks like, moving away from the middle class and putting it right back on the oligarchs and the wealthy at the top. He said he's going to repeal the Affordable Care Act. That thing is pre-existing conditions. Those are things that make sure that our family gets health care. And for many of our families, and I know you don't get to participate in it, but your families do, my mom does, Social Security and Medicare are life-saving programs for them. Instead of funding those programs, they talk about cutting them.
So he goes on, but just something about the way he rattles these things off. I see teleprompters, but you can tell he's also, it seems, going off the top of his head on some of the things. And he reportedly hates teleprompters, so he tries to not use them as much as possible. But it really does come off more conversational. And then in a way that doesn't, it doesn't feel super attack-y, right? It doesn't feel super divisive, even though he's just quickly going through a bunch of devastating truths about the Trump agenda. But it feels like he's just saying, hey, did you hear? This would be sort of bad. Let's not do that. Let's advocate for workers. And you love to see, I'll show you when Fox cuts this off. But because of how much we're facing in this election, I've mentioned it before, it's easy to forget all the different categories that we need to make sure people understand in terms of the damage that could be done. And so at the top of it all, the foundational thing being the way that key democratic institutions could be unraveled and attacked under Trump. But we can't forget that his record shows this. What his many of his deregulations and what his big, landmark achievement, according to him, legislatively, which was that tax cut bill, did to exacerbate income inequality is proof of the Trump priorities economically. Not to mention, as Tim Walz is saying, even though Trump tries to push himself away and distance himself from Project 2025, the anti-working class, pro-powerful, wealthy stance and sort of structure of that plan is so present. And so making sure people understand with all the issues we're facing, one of the key issues you also should consider going into the ballot box is just how different the priorities are one side to the other regarding pro or anti-working class policies, and because this is in front of a union, so important that anyone in a union or who cares about unions should understand that just absolute ocean that's between the stance of Biden-Harris and now Harris and the track record of their governance versus Trump's on unions. And this administration has been one of the most in favor, strong on unions that we've seen in decades and decades. This show's community is rapidly growing, and I'm so grateful for that every day. If you want to make sure that you're part of that, check to make sure you clicked the subscribe button. Easy, free, simple. It makes all the difference. I appreciate it. Back to the video. Here's where Fox News cuts this off.
Some of you in here, and I'm going to say this because I know we're bipartisan, some of the gray hairs in here, I know what you're thinking, and I remember it too because it's my family. When Republicans used to talk about freedom, they meant it. They meant it. Not anymore. These guys over there, they want government to have the freedom to invade every corner of your life, from our union halls to our kids' schools, even our doctor's office. Vice President and I, we got a little bit different vision of this. We believe that you, not politicians, should be made free to make your own health care choices. We believe that workers deserve to collectively bargain for fair wages, safe working conditions, good health care, and secure retirement. No interference from government.
To Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota. He's also the vice presidential nominee for the Democratic ticket. He's speaking to the firefighters union in Boston, Massachusetts. About 350,000 members, Brett, and speaking there enthusiastically without notes, and they really want to get this union vote. I don't know, though, Brett, if the rank and file would agree with him.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that this is a pitch, a speech designed specifically for the union. A lot of talk about collective bargaining, a lot of talk about, issues that those union members talk about in those halls.
And I'm sure it goes on from there. But the important point here does go back to as well, just getting the message to people, because so often people, because of effective branding or cultural association or something, they end up voting for Republicans, in this case Trump, when even by their super specific self-interest, it wouldn't make sense. And really, unless you're a super powerful, wealthy person, even then I would say the case for voting for Trump is crazy. But there's some argument that you believe you're going to have your wealth furthered. But other than that, it's really difficult to make that case, even just self-interest, regardless of broader care for our society. And I've seen these videos, we talked about one of them a while ago, where union members who think they're pro-Trump have a conversation with a fellow member of their union, and by just laying out the factual difference in Trump's record on this issue and Biden-Harris's record, they'll flip over and be like, oh, well, gosh, this is my top issue, so I should. And it's all about having those conversations, which is why I think Tim Walz's vibe is so effective, because it feels like that. Most times a politician comes in and gives you a prepared speech, it's going to do nothing, no matter how good the talking points are. But if it feels like a real engagement with these concepts in, I hate this term because it's overused, but in sort of an everyday way, a relatable, normal guy way, I do think that has the potential to impact some of the people, which the Fox host made a fair point, which is a lot of the rank and file members of this union probably aren't Democrats. But if they can hear this message, maybe they can see the importance of voting against Donald Trump. Let me know what you thought of that in the comments. If you want to get extra content, you can do it by clicking the join button below.